So what my father was doing with his music for orchestra, he thought of the orchestra, ensembles, whatever size band, he thought of it all as one thing. It wasn't as if it was any difference. He was always thinking about them together, like the orchestra and the improviser as one band. So that's what I tried to do here. I took his original compositions from The Shape of Jazz to Come, which was 6 songs, and I went to very interesting composers and asked them to make an arrangement. So I went to 6 different composers, and we made arrangements of all 6 of those different songs, so we could get it coming from different directions. Then for the orchestra, with the band in mind, then we layered in the band and the original songs to make it a complete sound. So now you've got it coming from a lot of different directions and flavors and energies, you know, and it really hits to the concept that he was thinking about, you know, orchestra and improvisers together as one thing. So that's where we are.
I always think of Ornette and Don Cherry in the context of the larger art culture of the time. You know, everything about that was like kind of outsider art in the real way. The plastic horns, the way they were dressing, it was really hyper-modern music for the time.
I mean, considering he grew up in the times where the masters were alive, before they were even called masters, and to still be existing in that, and to be aware of all the musical confines and still saying, I'm going to do something different.
One of my, if not the biggest experiences, like concert experiences, live experiences with hearing Ornette. When I was younger, he was playing in Copenhagen at the Royal Theatre with Denardo also. And I still remember just like the joy of not understanding what was going on, but really just being able to feel it. All these like waves of energy that just came out of the blue and just like swept my legs away under me. I was completely baffled afterwards, because the mystery and how that was actually possible was just like beyond anything you could read or try to learn from.
Yeah, well, you know what? The great thing is, by doing this project, all these musicians get to interface with my father's music. I mean, you have to get into an entirely different kind of headspace than maybe the normal approach, you know, when you get a piece of music in front of you, right? There's a normal approach. You get a lead sheet and usually there's some harmony or whatever, but you already kind of know where you are in the world. So now you put a piece of Ornette Coleman's music in front of you, you might not even be in this world.
At first I was contacted by a German orchestra management. They called me and told me that they have this special project with Denardo Coleman. It was impressive for me because the organization of the pieces with the 2 ensembles, the orchestra and the band, which are playing sometimes together and sometimes different groups, and so it was very special for me. And the music, I like the music very much. It's very lively and energetic.
And I love it when Denardo is asking us to just like go ahead and play the melody, even though we feel like we're interrupting something beautiful already. Something's already going on, but that sort of like way of creating contrast somehow reminds me of the concert also that I listened to with Ornette, because it seemed like you would, as a listener, be like, okay, we are here, but all of a sudden he would just like out of the blue pick up his horn and sort of take the music in a completely different direction, which made the whole sort of room shake in a way.
I think we all have played Ornette Coleman music, you know, in the practice room and also live. You know, it's a part of the canon now, you know. So I would say the majority of the tunes that we're playing, I've played in some context before. So the special part of it is not playing it, you know, with an orchestra or playing it with these particular musicians. I think the special part of it, at least for me so far, is seeing Denardo play it and hearing him talk about the approach, you know, just firsthand. You know, to hear him still trying to stretch the music is the special thing for me. You know, it's super authentic. These are the type of things that I live for.
See, it's not only you meet somebody for the first time, but you're walking across the edge with them, so they gotta hold your hand, you gotta hold their hand. So it's not, you know what I mean? So you're right, you're going across the tightrope together, you know? So hey, that's just the way it should be.
This is difficult to say, but I think this music is so special, it does not become old music, you know what I mean? Because there is a difference between the project in Germany and here. Yeah, we have here different musicians from New York. The way to present the pieces is different. So it's not like in the classical music you have the Fifth Symphony of Beethoven and that's it. So there are very little differences in the interpretation. Here you have a lot of possibilities of interpretation and the pieces, the score is the same, but what we are doing here is really different to that what we've done in Germany. And this is in the avant-garde of classical music, not the same. There is everything written in the score. You play always the same.
The aesthetic postulate that was proposed by Ornette Coleman is within a lot of the art traditions, the musical art traditions, in such a broad spectrum of musics today that I hear young people doing. I mean, everything from, you know, extreme metal, like there's a lot of hip hop, a lot of electronic music, a lot of these things that are, even whether the people are, you know it or not, are directly a result of a lot of the things that Ornette Coleman proposed. Even in the earliest, even with the Shape of Jazz to Come, let alone later iterations of his music, like Primetime and stuff like that. I think a lot of the DNA of many things is right there. I mean, I could think of many examples of that.
Well, the good thing is like, so since I have a good understanding of, you know, the energies that go into making, you know, the harmonic environment, I could feel where they were, they could feel where I was. And then it was like, at some points, they had the wheel, some points I had the wheel, some points we shared the wheel, you know. Sometimes we could jerk the wheel, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, got it, we could jerk the wheel, you know what I mean? We could hit reverse, you know, but we were still moving. We were still heading to a destination. I like to get into that space with each of the musicians, you know, because then it establishes that trust and a bond that we're riding together and we're on this adventure and exploration. I mean, which to me is what really jazz is. It's just an exploration. And so, but you have to want to be an explorer, you know, which is, you know, not everybody wants to be an explorer. Let me just put it that way.